Alright, so this is going to be my entry into the last Boy Scout and Power Max Do a Good Turn Daily. I've got older stories I sort of put off from just throwing down a random story that I used to do, and tried to come up with one that I did in the last week or so, and just waited till the opportunity arose. Interesting. I normally, especially if I can tell if someone's still there, in a big city, it is a little frustrating to see cars on the side of the road. You're not sure if they've been there a while, whether they're walked off. And in everyone's daily life, people assume somebody else is going to help them. And I think that's sort of the I've got to be at work or I'm in trouble sort of mentality. And it's just, I think if people didn't have the time restrictions they have, I think they would be willing to help people more. So with this, wasn't working this day, didn't have any time restrictions, and saw somebody that had just pulled off the road, and went to help them make sure everything's all right. And it was just a tire, and she had a spare, but she wasn't really sure how to put it on. And so I'd pulled in behind her, put my hazards on, and attempted to help her. And about 10 minutes in, I was just about to put the spare on, the little donut, and State Patrol actually pulled up, and he advised me that I not do that, and that I not stop and help people because it's very dangerous on the side of the road, and he was concerned for my safety and such. But I don't think I could, in good conscience, not stop and help somebody. It was interesting. I've never been told by State Patrol or anybody that I shouldn't be there to help somebody, so it was sort of interesting. But that's my story. Stopped to help somebody fix a flat. Of course, I didn't know it was a flat tire at first, just very erratic. She pulled over to the side of the road very quickly, and I saw it up ahead, just the way the road happened to be. I had plenty of time to stop and signal and wait on the side. So that is my entry, and I'll let you finish watching the beautiful sunset we have here. One thing I wanted to add onto my last Boy Scout Power Mac Do a Good Turn Daily video response is was at a friend's house the other day. As you guys know, I don't have a TV, and she was telling me about this show that she's starting to watch, and I found that you can watch it online on Hulu. So what I've been doing is kind of catching up on it a little bit. Now, it's not some drama, it's not a sitcom or anything. It's John Quinones and What Would You Do? I think it's ABC had it. It was a pretty interesting show. They put actors in scenarios, in real life scenarios, where random people in the public are forced to deal with the situation, or to ignore it, really. An example would be a woman in a park sitting on a bench, arguing with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend starts to get really very abusive, and whether or not people would stop to help her. And it's interesting, and they switch it up. In that same scenario, they'll change out some of the test actors, I guess you'd call them, and they'd put in like a black boyfriend and a white girlfriend, and then they'd switch it around. Sometimes they had gender reversals, and they did that a lot. Whether it was Public Affection, the one I watched yesterday was a woman who had put her baby in a car, and it was like 110 degrees in there with no windows rolled down or nothing, just left her child in the car. And interesting show. I think it shows the wide scope of what people deal with, and sort of what I was talking about before. If people are in a hurry, they tend to help more. The one I just watched 2 nights ago was really telling, and it had to do with an actual Bible verse about helping people. And they went from one room where they were given $75 and read this verse, and they were basically trying out for a TV show or something, and they had to walk across this park and go to the audition. And they were told they were running late. They only had 5 minutes to get there, and half of them were told they had plenty of time. Now, they just got done reading this script about helping people. They had $75 that they were just given in their hand, and yet then they had 2 actors sitting in the park crying, not asking for help, but visibly distraught about something. I believe the one guy didn't even have shoes on, and it was interesting to see who stopped and who didn't. And I don't know if you can see the moon. Well, that just looks like a little dot on there. Really wish I had an awesome zoom. Maybe one day I'll get a bigger camera. But back to the park scenario, the folks that were told they only had 5 minutes to get there, someone would jump on the phone and not really need to talk to anybody. Some of them would just flat out ignore them or start reading the paper. They had a black kid and a white kid in the scenario, and I don't know, it was really telling. There's always a percentage that are helping, and there's always a percentage that are not. And they even asked the people that didn't help, like, why, and they kind of give their reasoning. But anyway, I just want to throw that out there. I think it's a little bit better than just watching sitcom TV, and so I haven't watched that on the internet in a little while. But it's sort of like people watching with controlled scenarios and stuff, where people are calling the cops in some of these scenarios, and obviously the cops know that it's all a TV show. So it's interesting to see, and it kind of puts your mind into that, like, what would I do? What would I do in that situation? Would I be in too big of a hurry to stop and help somebody? Would it matter if it was a white blonde girl stealing a bicycle or a black kid stealing a bicycle? That was an interesting one. And they made no attempts to hide the fact they were stealing the bicycle. And they had people helping this little blonde girl steal it. And they were like, "Is this your bike?" She's like, no, it's not. And they're like, "Oh, okay, well, let me help you with the bolt cutters." And it was really interesting. It kind of gives a little insight into our society. Enough of my ranting. Thanks, guys.